Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this weird, wacky, and wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. And breathe, everyone. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad. Well. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Squad Central. Back to join me for the post-game show is my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Squaddies at ease. Let's get into it. Let's quick because we've got a big Monday coming, Monday Madness. At ease.
We do. We have a massive Monday. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the usual suspects in the house. For those of you joining us on replay and on audio, thank you so much for making the Highbury Squad part of your day too. Super Kevin Campbell. I don't know about you guys. That is, without doubt, the most stressful game I've experienced in a long time, and I've totally forgotten how stressful those kinds of games were. With the same token, Super Kev, we've been waiting to be in these big games, and my goodness, didn't it feel like a big game in the second half? And I've walked away from this. I'm sorry to say, I feel like we lost, even though we didn't. What about you, Kev? How'd you feel after that one?
I think for sure it's a point gained. When you could feel like we lost, being 2-0 up, but when you look at the chances, when you look at a missed penalty, when you look at 2 saves from Ramsdale, which were outstanding, actually 3 saves, it's a point gained. You do not go to Anfield and get an easy ride, that's for sure. The goal before half-time obviously pegged us back, but it's nobody's fault because they got the breaks. That's what happens. That's what type of side they are. And you could see Jurgen Klopp could throw on Firmino. He can make changes. He could put Nunes on. Firmino comes on. So they're playing with virtually 3-4 strikers. So there ain't many teams in the Premier League who could do what Liverpool can and really put you under pressure. And that's what they done. And I swear to you, Sophie, that save by Ramsdale that tipped it out over the bar from the top corner from Salah with the deflection. That one could be the biggest save of all. I'm telling you now. This was massive, but that one was 95th minute. The 95th minute we're in. That was massive.
Kev, it was so massive. And by the way, squaddies and those of you who are joining us on the post-game show here, we did a goalkeeper show with Michael Price from You On My Arsenal, who's a goalkeeping trainer and coach, college, and works with the Philly Union coaches. And he talked it's almost, I hope you go back and listen to that show, you guys. The goalkeeper show, it's on a playlist as well, the goalkeeper show. Kev, I don't know if there's a better goalkeeper in the Premier League with his feet in terms of saving than Ramsdale. I know Alisson's really good at that too. We talked about how he needed to be even more prepared because as good as Holding may be in training and with his teammates in a game situation, that changes the dynamic at the back completely. We talked about how everyone's so focused on the outfield players, who's going to start up front. But what about the importance of Ramsdale? And today he delivered when we needed him to, where the creative players in the second half went completely missing.
Well, Sophie, I've got to be honest with you. I think when you're away at Anfield, it's not that the creative players went missing. It's just that the creative players weren't allowed to be creative as much. You know, Liverpool, they've got that suffocating game. And because they were on the front foot in the second half, we found it difficult. We can't boss it all the time. You're never going to be able to dominate the game, especially at Anfield. So they come onto us And we kind of weathered the storm at 2-1, Soph. And then obviously they bring on more firepower, etc. But Ramsdale, I am telling you, everyone, I know you might think, but we were 2-0 up. Let me tell you something. We could have lost that game easily in the end if it weren't for Ramsdale. So I'm telling you, we take the point. We've proven we can go there and get things. We scored 2 goals there. Obviously, love to have come away with 3 points. But you know what you don't do? You don't lose. You do not lose. And Ramsdale made sure we didn't lose.
Well, Kev, when we did our predictions last week, you said 2-1 and I said 2-2. And I said before the game I would be happy with a point. And I stand by the fact that getting a point and not losing that game, especially after the way we played in the second half, or the way they came to life in the second half, whichever way you look at life, you can look at it as we didn't play well, or we did our job by trying to defend the lead. And in the end, you know, when you're away from home, learning from maybe what happened at Old Trafford with the 3-1, you know, trying to like shut up shop. We can't park the bus, Kev. Can we just talk about that for a second? We're a team. I don't care who's manager, Wenger, Ljungberg, interim, Emery, Arteta. We're better at defending a lead under Arteta. But when it comes to parking the bus in high pressurized situations, I don't like it. I didn't like it. James Johnston and I were exchanging messages like, I don't like this.
Yeah, but you're not going to like it, Sophie, but you're under pressure. You're at Anfield. They're coming back in the game. They need to get back in the game. They've got the crowd behind them. It seems like the referee was on their side as well. So, you know, everything is against you, Soph. And I think I text you that we've got to be smart, but we've got to be resilient. We've got to have that toughness to defend, because not only are they going to try and play through you, Sophie, they're one of the teams who will put crosses into your box because they've got numbers in there. So you have to be able to defend. We don't like it. We much prefer it when we're dominating possession, but you're not always going to be able to do that. And coming away with a point, Soph, I'm not happy, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Woody Wood says the usual happy with a point brigade are in full force. Sorry, I'm not happy. Gutted. We have dropped 2 points. Richard says a monumental performance from Ramsdale today. Ethelston says if Salah put away that penalty, I think it would have ended up 3-2 Liverpool. We're going to get to that as well. That was very lucky, a very lucky moment. Agree with this as well. Let's get stuck into this a little bit, Kev. The goal before halftime, I think, changed the game completely, and the timing of it.
It changed momentum.
We were so dominant. How do you go? Okay, so Kev, I totally understand having to just walk away with a point. I'm all for it. And I've said, I don't care about performance, just don't lose. 3 points for me, right? The point I would have loved to have seen us get over the hump and just win there and hold out. I don't know what it was like over there, but it was like the commentators were willing Liverpool to score. It was kind of offensive.
Because they want to make it, they want to make it dramatic, you see.
Lee Dixon stood up for us.
Yeah, well, of course Dicko would, but they want it dramatic. They want Liverpool to come back. They want it to be knife edge, people biting their nails, you know, people pulling their hair out. This is what they love, Sophie. This is what they love. Now, imagine we'd have lost that game. Would have been done, finished. We couldn't. We can't hack it, Sophie.
Correct. But we stood toe to toe against the Liverpool team at Anfield. Kev, I don't care what Liverpool team it is. People said we should have thrashed Everton. Nothing's guaranteed in football. It's a stadium we go to that we just really don't have much luck at. Same thing here, right? So we get a point. If at the beginning of the season, someone would have said to you, we're going to beat them at home and we're going to get a point at Anfield, what would you have said?
And be 6 points clear with City with a game in hand.
You can add that bit in.
But we'll take that, wouldn't we? We would take that. Yeah, we'll take that.
Yes.
So, Sophie, I do get it. We were 2-0 up. But let me tell you something. it's just not gonna. You're just not gonna be 2-0 up, and you could just roll easy. No, you're at Anfield. You are gonna get stretched. You're gonna get challenged. Listen, they got the break. They got the break.
I want to get
before
stuck into
halftime.
this a little bit with you in going back to the contrasting performances, because as much as I don't care and I want 3 points, I want to understand, Kev, how do we go from putting together 35 minutes of just pure, I mean, the audacity on some of our play. Gabriel Jesus getting up and beating central defenders at Liverpool to score a header, at the Kop end. How do we go from that to the second half where it's 1-2 and we just sit back? I texted you and I said I would love to have gotten an early goal in the second half, put the pressure back on them. How do we do that? How do we go from one extreme to the other?
Yeah, but you see, one thing you're not doing, Sophie, you're not giving
Is
the
looking at
opposition
what they
any.
did.
Yeah, you're not giving the opposition any credit. It doesn't matter what they've been. It doesn't matter.
No, they're great at home. They're great at home.
But what you got to understand is these are players who play high-level football every season. They know what to do. They've won the league. They know how to play against big teams. They know how to suffocate you at Anfield. Away from home, they're not great. But at Anfield, we started off brilliantly. We quietened the crowd, etc. But they are going to gain some momentum. You're just not going to take the game away from Liverpool so easy. And that's what they done. They adjusted. They got the goal before halftime. And then you knew second half they're going to come for us. So what do? You have to weather the storm. We kind of weathered the storm, and then they start making changes. They put different players on, etc. We have to still weather the storm. So,
okay.
But we are going to come under massive pressure just because of who they have on the pitch and the threats they carry.
Okay, so let me twist this a little bit differently. What would you say if I told you we lost the second half mentally? One of the things you and I have talked about, and I've said many times on the show, is we're going to win and lose this title mentally. And once again, there was an incident between Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I love Xhaka and we've all lauded him. But we've seen that when you get involved in situations like that and you rile up the home crowd, it
Sophie,
just... No, but wait, let me finish. Let me finish.
But hold on a minute, Sophie.
Mentally, no, but I haven't finished my point, Kev.
All right, go on, finish your point.
Mentally, I feel like we lost our edge in the second half. We allowed them to get to us. We allowed stupid, dirty tackles to affect us. We completely lost our calm and our cool. And that calm and coolness was evident in kind of snapping and, at things, because you felt like the stress and the pressure for the first time, I think, in a long time in this title race this season, Kev. And it was indicative in the missed pass from Martinelli to Saka at the end, which if he hits that pass and we nail it, we could win the game. It just felt like mentally we lost our own composure and we didn't play our way despite how well they came at us.
But they didn't let us play. But you see,
but mentally though, Kev, we can
but
control
it doesn't matter
that.
Mentally, it doesn't matter.
Why? Of course it matters mentally. Xhaka could have got sent off today.
Let me finish then. I listened to you. Let me finish.
Roger that.
So, yeah, we know what we want to do, but the opposition stop you doing what you... That's what high-level football's about. High-level football is about not letting your opponent play the way they want to. That's it. So you could have the right mentality, but if the opposition don't let you do what you want to do, you have to adjust.
But you can't let that affect you mentally, and it did.
No, but Sophie, hold on a minute. Sophie, the fact of the matter is, when you are defending for long spells, you are not going to get easy play. So easy passes then become harder because it looked to us like it's an easy pass, isn't it? It's an easy pass. But the pass wasn't perfect. Why? Because the boys had done so much work defensively.
Yes, to the point where perhaps we put too much pressure on ourselves in the sense of the substitution. So talk me through the substitutions and how you felt about the subs. Because a lot of the chat box is coming at wants to know from you. Do you feel like Arteta made the subs too late today?
No, I don't. I'll tell you why. Sometimes you want after the start of the second half, Liverpool were on us and we couldn't get out, and then it kind of calmed down a bit, which was fine. We weathered the storm a bit, and then we started to have a couple of attacks. So sometimes you don't want to change the momentum because the team had seen that wave of attacks off. Fine. I understand that. Many people might not, but I understand. You keep it as it is. Okay, let's see where we could go from here. Then when they start to build more pressure, that's when he started to make more substitutions. When they bring Firmino on, especially, that's when Saviour come on, because they're going bigger up top.
Do you, by the way, Yanto, the team can lose composure in how they defend. It's not just about losing your head. Rob Holding lost his composure completely again, and we're going to get to that. All right. And we defended him, and we defend him. He's an Arsenal player, but we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Kev, I think that maybe in the second half, I would have liked to have seen us attack a little bit, right off the bat. And so there's a couple of people saying you're giving Liverpool too much credit because they've been garbage all season. Now, I know they've been good at home. They've been good at home and they're great at home. And we find it always tough to play at home against them. Some Arsenal fans just feel for the first time they were there for the taking. And maybe we weren't brave enough in the second half.
I disagree. I totally disagree. Not brave enough. One thing you have to do is you have to have the ball to be brave. We couldn't get out. We could not get out. We had good ball sometimes and we played, but they done a good job on not letting us build attacks. You could see that in the second half. That's why we just got deeper and deeper and deeper, because things just kept breaking down. So it's not composure. Would I like to have dominated the second half? Of course I would. But that's not football sometimes, especially at Anfield. And whether people want to give Liverpool credit, because they've been crap all season, what's that got to do with this game? We've got to say it as we see it. And Liverpool put it on us. They stretched us second half.
They did stretch.
And if it weren't for Ramsdale, we lose that game.
Can we also talk? Okay, so can we, of course, we agree on that. And maybe we'll start doing our player ratings and we can kind of go through some of the other conversations. But just really quickly, in the second half, did the Zinchenko inverted tactic hurt us? Did Jurgen Klopp punish us? Did he punish us? Did he expose that in the second half? Should Tierney have come on earlier at least to shore up the defense? If your plan was to park the bus, should Tierney have come on a bit earlier?
Well, you could say that, but they scored when Tierney was on. So what difference does it make? You could talk about taking Zinchenko off earlier. Okay, but they scored when Tierney was on. Mm-hmm. So, where do we go? The fact of the matter is we're playing against a Liverpool side who have got a lot of pride at home. They are a good side. We know they're better than what they've been shown. They're better than getting duffed 4-1 at Man City. They're better than playing Chelsea in the week. And if Chelsea could have scored, it would have been 3 or 4. They're better than that. But most of the time, we see them better at Anfield.
100%. And we all knew that this wasn't going to be an easy game. And Klopp knew what he was doing ahead of this game. And there's nothing he would have loved more than to stifle our run.
Scalp.
Yeah, take our scalp. All right, Kev. Let's roll with some player ratings. And tomorrow night, you guys, you're not going to want to miss the show. We're going to get to talk in a bit more depth and detail. We're going to dissect and we're going to look at Arsenal's journey and what is left in order to close this deal with Liverpool legend Stevie Nicol. Super Kev and Stevie Nicol going at it on Monday Madness tomorrow night at the earlier time of 7 p.m. Mark your calendars. You're not going to want to miss it. Super Kev.
So what we're going to do, we're doing player ratings.
Yes.
Ramsdale. I mean, it's got to be 10. Soph.
10.
It's got to be 10 for me.
It's 10 for me.
It's got to be 10. I mean, you done the goalkeeping show. We talked about goalkeepers saving your team. And you know what? A lot of people look at, oh, we've dropped 2 points. No, we've gained a point. We're talking about at Anfield here, and we could have lost that game and probably should have lost that game in the last bit. Ramsdale kept us in it, so we got a point at Anfield. You take your point and you move forward. Trust me, we won't play against teams who could stretch us like that. Manchester City don't stretch us like that.
Yeah, he gets some. Yeah, no, you mentioned it because I asked you. I go, Kev, surely we can't play another 8 games like that for the rest of the season. And your response to me was, Soph, we're not gonna be played like that for every game. We're not gonna face that.
We're not going to face that by any team.
Tell everyone what you mean by that, Kev.
Oh, because of you look at the players they had up front. They had Núñez up front, Firmino. They had Gakpo, and they had Salah. You have all those weapons at the top end of the pitch. You probably go 3 or 4 of them up top. You've got to defend all of them. And it's not just on the floor. They could put crosses in and they get joined. They get joined in there. It's serious. So that's why Kivior come on because of the height for free kicks, etc. Unfortunately, we just got done. Trent Alexander-Arnold got to the byline, put one at the back post, and unfortunately, we got done at the back post by Firmino. But you know what? Ramsdale was incredible.
Kev, I need to correct.
I
need to correct this. Zinchenko was beaten before the cross, and even Lee Dixon had a go at Zinchenko, saying you just can't get beat there. So it wasn't. It was okay.
Okay.
Fair's fair.
Fair's fair. Right. But okay. I think I must be talking about when they got down to end it.
Well, there were the two others. There were the chances.
Yes,
correct.
For the chances. Sorry, I'm on about for the chances. So if they go in, you can't stop everything. Is my point. We can't stop everything. So if Tierney's on, that doesn't mean we're going to stop because Liverpool are a good side. They know how to play. That's really the point. So look, but Rambo, outstanding. 10 out of 10 for me. This save and then the top. Oh, that one was. Do you know
Look at
what?
The time
Sophie,
in the game. Wow.
Sophie, I've got to tell everybody when he saved that, I stood up and I clapped him.
I fell to my knees. I said it out loud.
I stood up and
wow.
I clapped him because that right there could be the save that wins us the league. I'm telling you now.
Just look at that
one. It's incredible save. And it took a deflection.
The fact that he adjusted from a deflection is unbelievable. Like, really unbelievable. Wow. Just really quite a sensational performance from him. It was a beautiful save. He is an artist between the sticks. He really is. Who's next, Kev?
Ben White. So, who... you go on Ben White. You go on Ben White first.
I was disappointed again. You know, we didn't lose. I'm not going to kill players at this point in the season. Benjamin has been superb, but, you know, I can't sit here and laud him for not having a great game. It wasn't a great game. I was expecting a little better from him. His passing was off. Some of his positioning at times, I think, of course, that goes to not moving too far up, Kev, and having to protect and knowing Holding was playing. I think that changed Ben's game today completely. And being away from home, we have to be a bit more conservative. He gets us 5.5 for me today.
5.5. I'm going to give Ben White a 6. Wasn't really convincing. He done some good things and done some bad things. Some of his passing was awry. I definitely admit that. So,
don't freeze on us. Don't freeze on us now, Kev. No, the gremlins are here. Ireland's here. There we go. Kev, do you think do you I don't know where we lost you, but do you think the yellow card affected how he played? Super Kev? We'll get Kev back. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Yanto says it was never a yellow card for Benny Blanco. The ref was woeful. Let's be real. Let's not blame the ref today. Let's just come on. I mean, really, Liverpool deserved something out of that game. I mean, I can't stand them. I don't want to sit here and compliment Liverpool. They've been we should have that was the game to win. You know, we turned Tottenham twice this season, to turn Liverpool twice this season, to beat them at Anfield after 10 years. But the key is here, guys, I have to stand by my own philosophy and what I was talking about. I don't care how we perform. I just want 3 points. But there's a couple games on the board here that you just don't want to lose, right? Anfield was one and Etihad was the other. We had both of those games earmarked. You just cannot lose those matches. Exactly, they deserve to win today. I mean, look, yeah, I think that they definitely deserve something out of the game. Super Kev, you were wrapping up on, I think, Ben White.
Ben White, yeah, he done some good things, some poor things. So didn't have a great game, but it was okay. It was just okay. But for a centre back, shouldn't be getting beat on the back post. So when Trent Alexander-Arnold gets to the byline, you've got to be tight to your man. And he jumped, and Firmino just got a kind of a free header at the back stick. So yeah, I'll give him a 6. So
yeah, okay. All right, who's next?
Next is Zinchenko. So Zinchenko, who I thought we started like a house on fire. So if we're honest, we did. We started like a house on fire. He was making the difference in midfield. You know, the way we played. I thought he done pretty well today. Just second half, they put it on us. They stretched us, Soph. And everybody had to put a shift in today. So, you know, we couldn't dominate the ball like we normally do. And Zinchenko, I thought he done all right. I thought he was a little bit better than Ben White, Soph, because of his play in midfield. So I'm giving Zinchenko 6.5 today.
Yeah. I'm with Silu on here. He's not great at his primary duties, I would say sometimes. I don't think that's a blanket statement. We've seen this and we've gotten away with it. He's gotten away with it a little bit. He got exposed today. And I was disappointed after the first 35 minutes. I thought Trent had a decent game. I thought Robertson had a decent game. I don't think we took him to task the same way that we have had in the past. But Zinny, for me, gets a 5.5. Not his best today. First half, first 30 minutes, brilliant. But I just fell away in the second half. And
next, Rob Holding, Soph.
Super Kev. I tried and we've stood. Look, let's just be honest. Saliba's got to come back and he's not going to come back anytime soon. He's just not. And I thought for the most part, up until that moment, Rob Holding had a decent match. But then he had one of these moments, didn't he? Instead of having kind of one of these moments or one of these moments. You just can't do that. Was it soft? Yeah. But he put himself in that position again, clumsy, totally lost his composure, mentally impotent in that moment. Sorry, you make a mistake like that, you get a 4.
4?
Yeah. He could have cost us the game. And we got away with it because Salah, for some reason today, couldn't find the goal with a map and a compass.
Well, he did in the first half, but
I mean, I'm talking Salah style.
Well, listen, I think when I watched it again, I think Jota plays a blinder. Absolute blinder. Rob Holding couldn't get out of the way.
He put himself in the position.
Hold on. No, Sophie, you had your chance. Can I talk?
Yeah.
Jota, I'm not saying he wasn't clumsy, Soph, but Jota Could you remember we got a penalty against Liverpool at the Emirates where Jesus put his leg ahead of Thiago? Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
We got it. Jota done exactly the same thing. And I'm not saying Holding wasn't clumsy, because he was. But Jota, Strikers Union, Jota does really well to put his body across him, because he couldn't stop. There's nowhere else he could have done. Kind of made contact with his leg. It's a penalty. It is a penalty. But I'm telling you, you watch it again, Jota does him a kipper. Absolute kipper. And Holding fell for it.
But he got outsmarted by Jota, well said, Mark B. And he also got outsmarted by Son, and he's fallen to a little of the dark arts. Now, look, I agree with you, Jirki. I thought that, I said it, guys. I thought in the first half he was really good. And I thought mostly up until that point. But when you make that type of error and you almost cost your team a very important point, sorry, you can't now.
Hold it. Well, I'll finish. Holding gets a 6 for me. Okay. I didn't think he had that bad a game. He got done. Yeah. He was clumsy. Yeah. But it wasn't all coming down his side. It wasn't. He was terrible. For a 4 in my opinion, I'll give him a 6. I thought he was all right.
You're being nice.
No, okay, I'm not being nice. I'm being real. Because realistically, when you think about it, if he was so poor, we should have lost that game. We would have lost that game.
Double O. I wish I could just say, come on air and say, hey, you're listening to the Highbury Squad. Ref was biased. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
Listen, he was, but you're going to get that at Anfield. Let me tell you, everybody, you're going to get that at Anfield. You're not going to get the ref on your side. I can tell you that much.
You are. Who's next, Kev?
Let's go to Gabriel, Soph, who, do you know what? I thought he had a decent game, had to deal with Salah a lot on the outside when Zinchenko moved into midfield. So I've got to give him big props for dealing with Salah most of the time. Salah's goal in the first half actually came when Gabriel kicked it off Salah. By the way, it wasn't Salah got there first. Gabriel hooked his foot around, made contact with the ball, and it hit Salah and went in. So, look, had a great chance in the second half from a corner, so at 2-1, that would have made it 3-1. But do you know what? I thought he defended really well. He's our best defender, Soph. He's our best defender right now.
He
has been for quite a while. Do you know what? I'm going to give Gabriel. I'm going to give him an 8, Soph, because without this guy, I'm telling you, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. Not sure anyone deserves an 8 today.
Hey, Ramsdale got 10.
That's what I'm saying. I was going to say, other than Ramsdale, who got a 10. So yeah, for me, he gets a 7.
Somebody else deserves a high mark.
Maybe. We'll see. By the way, the reason you can hear an echo is Kev had some internet issues and he's on his phone. So, you know.
Hey, by the way, I only get into the issues with Highbury Squad now.
Well, I've heard from a little bird that maybe. Let's keep the momentum, Arsenal. AA. Who's next, Kev? We got 8s and 7.5s.
Thomas Partey in midfield, who I thought, again, didn't have the greatest game, but weren't terrible either. Again, someone who was quite influential early on, had to dig in. But you know what? When we got a little bit of a grip of the game in the second half and we kind of quelled their fire, he was instrumental in that. But when it's coming at you from all angles, it's tough. It really is tough. I thought Thomas Partey was decent without being brilliant. I'll give Thomas Partey a 7, Soph.
I give him a 6 today. I thought, again, in the first half an hour, very good, commanding. Our midfield were in complete control. And in the second half, and especially when Thiago Alcantara came on, felt like we lost complete control of the midfield. He gets a 6. I thought he was... I don't mind when he plays in the shadows, but today he was really in the shade. And that is not the Thomas Partey we've come to know and the way he plays this season. So for me, he gets a 6.
Okay. Next is Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka for me today reverted back to a little bit of old Granit Xhaka. Again, not killing the team, you guys. I'm just giving my post-game play ratings in terms of what I've just seen. Remember, we talk again on Monday evenings when we see the game. Kev, he gets a 5.5 today. He reverted back to being a bit of a liability at one point. I thought he was going to pop. Then he held it together, put the armband on, calmed down a little bit as well. I thought mentally he handled himself in a much more elite level than he has in the past. That could have been a red card and he could have been a hothead. So in some ways, I commend him for that. But really, it was a poor game for him today, I think. 5.5.
Yeah, I give Granit Xhaka a 6. I thought, listen, there's a lot of unsung work that went in, which I think a lot of people are unfair when they, mark them. They're unfair because when Liverpool are coming at you from all angles, you've got to run, you've got to chase, you've got to tackle, you've got to do the nasty side. Mm-hmm. And it's because it's going to come at Anfield, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I give Xhaka a 6. Obviously, I thought he did keep his head quite well, Sophie, you're right. And the incident with Trent Alexander-Arnold was us standing up for ourselves, Xhaka standing up for himself. We're fired up for the win. That's what we are. So, I thought we'd done all right. And Xhaka gets a 6. So let's move on. Captain Martin Odegaard. So,
Captain O, one of my favorite players, one of our best players this season. Again, first half, the conductor was orchestrating everything good, playing really well with Martinelli, especially. I thought we had complete control in that first 30 minutes, and then he disappeared in the second half. I call it as I see it, kids. I love him. He's been brilliant, one of our players of the season. But in the game where you wanted someone to get on the ball and take complete command, that is where you need that player. Kev, the way Xavi would get on the ball and just skulls. They just get on the ball. De Bruyne, they just slow everything down and the game is played the way they want. And he didn't do that today. He gets a 5.
Okay. Martin Odegaard, for me, gets a 6. I thought he grafted very hard, really pressed hard. Weren't at his majestic best, of course. Started the game okay, I thought. Looked really well. But, again, when you haven't got the ball, it doesn't matter whether you're Xavi, whether you're Maradona. When you haven't got the ball, these guys are going to struggle. But what they've got to do when things are going against you, you've got to put a shift in. And I thought, without being again an offensive master, I thought he put a real good shift in. So I give him a 6.
Would you have subbed him earlier, Kev? Would you have subbed him? Sorry, would you have subbed him in the game like earlier?
No, not necessarily solely because when we do take possession of the ball, he can hit one pass that will cut the defense open. So we could easily call the subs, but when we're not dominating, we had to work, and he's a willing worker. So I'm not going to call the subs today. I think the subs were fine. The subs were put on at the right time in my eyes, especially the last lot, because Liverpool were coming back on top. So.
Okay.
Next was Saka, who I thought again, it's a game of two halves. So I thought first half he done pretty well against Robertson, by the way, fouled him so many times in the first half and didn't get booking. Saka for me was okay. I liked it when he started to move around back end of the second half. But probably a little bit too late. Was in one where he couldn't get one from Martinelli. Listen, I think I give Saka a 6 as well. I thought he was, just a little bit above average, but not the standards that we set. So I think this is where you're coming from. The standards that we set, we didn't hit them today. We hit them for 30 minutes, but that leaves an hour where we didn't hit it. And that's why Liverpool could take over. But look, Saka gets the 6 from me. I thought he done okay. Worked hard up and down against Robinson without being brilliant.
Yeah. Evgeny, I would like Saka to help Ben White more. I didn't think he did that today. I don't think that it was his best day at the office. Again, yeah, first 20 minutes. But even though Martinelli and Odegaard, I thought, and Jesus were on fire in that first half, I didn't feel like Saka was really in the game today. And I would have liked to have seen Trossard come on earlier. I would have subbed Saka out of that match maybe with half hour to go. And Trossard's proven himself. I feel like that is maybe where we lost a little bit of the ability to find a goal late in the game with new energy. He gets a 5 for me, Kev, today, Saka.
I think the reason why he didn't take Saka off was because of he would track Robertson. And anybody who says he didn't help Ben White, you need to watch the game again. You need to see where Saka
is. He tried to help him. I just didn't think it was as effective.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. Trossard isn't the greatest going that way. Saka's better. That's why you try and match them up and keep them busy. You keep them both going against each other. Hopefully they cancel each other out. Listen, Trossard come on, he looked decent anyway.
When Trossard came on, we started getting possession back and we felt like we had a bit more control again. And we, it just felt...
But that was late on.
Yeah, it was late on, yeah. But...
so again, but that was as a number 9. If he's as a wide man, he doesn't get that opportunity to get hold of the ball in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, I just think today maybe earlier subs, Saka, Xhaka, Odegaard should have been subbed. Those were the subs, and I think he could have added a little bit of a different energetic dimension. And those players also looked tired today. I know you hate that, Kev, but they did.
No, but it's hard work against Liverpool.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard work. We had the best of the first 30, 35 minutes. And they put it on us after that. It happens. And normally, we can't handle it. But we got through it.
By the skin of our teeth.
I just hope, truthfully, people don't beat the team up.
No, I'm not. I'm being honest about the performance.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying I hope people don't beat the team up for being 2-0 up and then, we've chucked it away. No, we've gained a point at Anfield. Honestly, let's look at a positive. So next, Sophie, is your man Martinelli.
I love him. This guy. Okay, number 1, I love it. Now we've got players. I love it when we have players who have their number, team's numbers, right? This guy, what can we say about this guy? The first half, he was amazing. And you know what? He didn't stop working hard in the second half either. Couple of occasions still, Kev, where I wanted him to just release the ball a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But in terms of the first half, he caused all the problems. He and Jesus were like confusion and chaos. They were like a superhero Marvel, just like running the streets of Liverpool and just causing mayhem. And I just was a little bit bummed we couldn't capitalize and play that way in the first 10, 15 minutes of the second half to completely kill them off. But I thought he was brilliant. He gets an 8 for me today.
Hey, but Sophie, you said nobody else will get an 8.
Yeah, well, my little Nelly. I forgot about my little Nelly.
Sophie, you give him an 8. I give him a 9. I'll tell you why I give Martinelli a 9. From the very beginning, he was positive. He was after Trent Alexander-Arnold. He was on the front foot. He gets the goal, and then he sets Jesus up for the assist, the second goal. I thought his finish for the goal was fantastic, little toe poke. And I thought he worked so hard. I thought he'd done a lot of unsung work. And even right up to the death, he was grafting, he was working his heart out. And unfortunately, he just couldn't find Saka with the right pass in the end. But do you know what? I thought he was outstanding, Soph. I really do. I thought he had a really good game today. So that's why he gets a 9 from me.
Yeah. This one from Danny, our good friend over at a Burkamp Wonderland. Hope all is good in your world, Big D. If our players were 2 or 3 years more experienced today, we would have won that 6-2. It's coming.
Danny, it's coming. Do you know what, Sophie, Danny, everybody? These boys are still maturing. That is you know, they'll be going back and they might feel a little bit disappointed, but I'm telling you, the manager's going to be saying, boys, I'm telling you, that's a huge point, because City would have thought we lose today. I'm telling you now.
I think so. I think a lot of people had us losing today. I just didn't want to lose. Kev, this from Abby and a few people. He gets that mark still despite missing the chat. Despite
missing
the pass. Yeah,
of course. Because listen, you're not all the time you're going to find the right pass. Not every time. He did pass it, but it just weren't of the right weight and position.
I thought it was over. I thought it was over, Kev. I thought he was going to hit Saka and he was going to bury it. I thought
he was going to run through one-on-one with a
I started
because it's up for grabs. One of them moments. It would have been fantastic. So,
Kev, I literally had my door half open, about ready to go down the street, and yeah.
But Sophie, do you know what? We love our boys. We love this team. And they're only going to get better. This is the great thing. Remember, this is the first title challenge that they're having. So they need to experience these things where all the pressure's on you, going to Anfield. Liverpool got nothing. Liverpool could play free. All the pressure's on us. So
Thunder Road, Thunder Road, I always want to win. There's some teams where at this point, when you're ahead and you can win the Premier League, get a point. If you're not going to win, don't lose. That's it.
That's right.
What's so hard to understand?
You got to pick something up on the road. Would you have liked it if we lost?
Apparently, Jamie Carragher was thinking exactly like you, Kev, on the broadcast about the Michael Thomas. It's up for grabs now. It was one of those moments. Who's next, Kev?
The comeback kid, Jesus.
He took the wheel on Easter Sunday. To all of those celebrating, happy Easter to each and every one of you. God bless. Jesus, I tell you something, this guy, to get him back at this point in the season, what a player. He hustles, he never tires. And I tell you something, he's inspired other players in this team, right, to work hard continuously. And I love him, Kev. He gets an 8.5 for me today. That header was wonderful.
Brilliant.
He's wonderful.
Header. Brilliant header. I'm actually joining you on 8.5, Soph, because it's not easy up against Van Dijk and Konate. He's not the biggest lad, but we know he's strong. Balls are coming up to him and he's having to hold it up and stuff. And some of the moves, some of the ability, the one where I think was on the touchline, where he took a touch and moved it down the line, and Van Dijk cleaned him out. That was a booking for him. He done a great bit of skill. I think it was over Thiago in midfield, where the ball's come, he's took a touch, he's put it over his head, and then he's released Martinelli. But the goal to have the nerve to stay in between Van Dijk and Robertson. Cop end, cross comes in, and you still got to get your head on it and divert it down and put it in, and he does that. Fantastic goal. That's what he's there for, so he's there to try and lead us to the promised land.
He gets battered every game.
He got knees in the butt, he got knees in the back, he got buffeted, he got smashed, and he just keeps getting up. So this guy was out. He'd been out for 3 months.
He's so his resilience in a game. He just that challenge where he got clattered by, was it Van Dijk and Fabinho? It was one Fabinho did, was like Bosch. It was he got battered.
That was a
the
car
whole
crash.
game.
Yeah, that was. Yeah. But he just keeps getting up. So listen, we're gonna need this guy. If we're gonna win it, we need Jesus fit. So that's it for the team. So
okay.
Do you want to do subs, or do you want to do the subs all together?
Subs altogether for me, other than Trossard, who I tell you something, this guy needs to come on earlier in a game like this, Kev. What a player this guy is.
Yeah, but the thing is, you see, Sophie, you can bring him on early, but when you haven't got the ball, he can't influence the game when you haven't got the ball.
No, but he's so good off the ball. He's a hustler like Jesus as well, Kev. It's like you got two of them out there. When you don't have the ball, the way they track and just what they...
Yeah, Soph, but again, everybody's doing it because it's all hands to the pump. We're so deep, we can't get out.
But I just thought he was, as soon as he came on within 5 minutes, I was like this, okay, just breathe. If he brought this calmness on the ball, we started to get a little bit more possession. I just wish he'd have come on earlier. I think we could have nicked the goal. I really believe it.
Okay, fine. If that's what you believe, fine. But one thing we do know, when Trossard came on, when he came on, they still created chances. So again,
that's going to happen in every game. I get it. I mean, of course.
So we could talk hypothetical if you want, no problem. So what are you giving Trossard and what are you giving?
I'm going to give him a 7, and everyone else gets a nice 5 just for wearing the shirt. Thank you for coming.
You give him a 5, I give him a 6.
Okay.
For wearing this shirt. Trossard gets a 7 then, and the rest get a 6. How about the manager? So, how about the manager?
Okay, the manager I've been lauding of late. I've been crediting this 8 run has been amazing. The bounce back ability factor. I think he was definitely of the ilk. We just can't lose this game. I do think it was his poorest game management since maybe Newcastle, where he was trying to send out a point. I don't have any subs, so I'm not going to bring anyone on. He gets a 6 for me today.
6?
Yeah.
Scored 2 at Anfield. 6.
Yeah, but we scored 2 at Anfield and gave away a 2-0 lead at Anfield and almost lost 3-2, but for our goalkeeper. And he didn't make substitutions at the right time for me today. And he didn't. But Kev, but maybe we could have won if he'd have made some different choices today.
But
you've asked me and I'm giving you my answer.
Yeah, I know. But we didn't lose. He gets a 7.5 for me, so the manager. I thought the game plan was right. The bottom line is the players, unfortunately, second half, couldn't control the game the way we usually do. So that's why we had to dig in. And we're going to have to do that from time to time. Yeah, fight. That's what we're going to have to do. We're not always going to be able to play the way we want.
I think they mean you and me. Yeah, it wasn't his best performance either. Oh, look, here come the little trolls, Arsenal.
No, hence why, so 7.5.
Yeah.
Because normally, high-level game, he'll get a 9. But he gets a 7.5. We still scored 2 goals. We still dominated the game in the first half, majority of it. So,
do you remember when I said to you the only time we'll see Saviour is in a 999 situation? But we talked about our Impactors episode.
Well, so it was a 999 situation today. It was.
Great stuff, Super Kev.
How about the away fans?
The away fans felt nervous today. You could feel it, but we were still the loudest until their fans got all riled up for a fight. Our away fans, I don't care. No matter where they go this season, they get 15.
They get 15 out of 10. Love that. 2 15s out of 10 here for the away fans. The away support has been superb. You know what, Sophie? They really do play their part in this team getting results.
They're amazing.
They really do.
They're amazing.
And believe you me, it is appreciated by the team, by the club, by us who are watching. We really appreciate you guys who travel and do so much and spend your hard-earned money to go and follow the club. It means a lot. It means a lot to everybody. And you know what? You're winning the team on. Yeah, could we have won? It would have been great if we won. But you know what? We take a point from Anfield. We're still on an unbeaten run. And we go again.
And we're still 6 points clear at the top. Okay, City, that could be, 3 points. This is what it's going to be, guys. We've wanted to be in the battle. We've wanted to be in the trenches at the end of the Premier League season with a shout to be fighting again, competing again. We went to Anfield, our boys fought. Now, maybe we felt like we could have escaped with the win, but we didn't lose. And at this point in the season, when we still control our own fate, to have that in our hands still, we can do this. And there's no reason why we should stop believing just because maybe we dropped a couple points at Anfield, or as Kev says, we gained a point at Anfield.
Gained a point.
I'm going to hand it back to Kev to close the show. We're going to be back tomorrow night with Liverpool legend Sophie Nicolaou. Let's get it from his side and see how he saw the Arsenal's performance. So you won't want to miss that at 7 o'clock. You can catch me at 9 o'clock this evening with FK over at the late night latte firm for a little bit more Arsenal talk. Super Kev, over to you.
Right. Well, Gooners, we're in a running now, Arsenal fans, and
they want us to rate the ref. Kev, do we want to rate the ref? Just sorry to interrupt. No, we don't care.
Because minuses,
as you were,
minuses are not good. Minus ratings for referees are not good. Thanks, Newman. Look, guys, we are in a running. We started off really well, calmed the nerves 2-0, but you always know at Anfield the next goal is vital. They got it before the half, and they stretched us second half. We couldn't control the game as we would like. They had loads of chances. Let's be honest. Mo Salah missing a penalty kind of done us a massive favour. So we take a point, we put it in our back pocket, and we get out of Merseyside. Not a very nice place for us getting points, but we got bigger things to come. So do you know what, squaddies? Thanks for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. And we're going to see you tomorrow, squaddies. So lots of love. Look after yourself. Have a lovely evening. Lovely Easter if you celebrate it. And at ease, squaddies. At ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.